Hey, what is up guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest of Razer's premium headsets for the PS5, the Razer Kaira Pro. This headset is going to run you $200, so it's definitely on the medium to high price point for gaming headsets out there today. And this is going to work on the PS5, the PC, Nintendo Switch, and mobile devices. So let's take a look at what this headset has to offer and see if it can really justify that $200 price range. So out of the box you get some paperwork, a Type-C wireless dongle with an extender if needed, a Type-C charging cable, and the Razer Kaira Pro headset. So let's talk about the design and build. This headset's gonna come in at 331 grams, so it's definitely not the lightest headset I've ever used, but it's by far not the heaviest either. I personally think it's a pretty good weight. Personally, I think this headset has a very nice stylish design that matches the look of the PS5 perfectly. You get a really nice mix of the black and white to match the PS5's look, and then you get that splash of blue on the inner ear cup to give it that PlayStation feel. And then it does have that nice splash of aluminum on the side of each earpiece, which I think personally adds a really nice touch to it. The Kaira Pro does also have a nice RGB feature that illuminates the Razer logo on each ear cup to any color you want using the Razer Audio app. You can of course turn this RGB feature off if it's just not your thing, or if you're looking to save some battery life. I personally think it looks great. Other than that, the rest of the headset is made of a plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap at all. It really feels sturdy and premium, and I don't think you're gonna have any worries as far as bending it too far or twisting it. The Kaira Pros are also incredibly comfortable, which seems to be the case for most Razer headsets these days. I currently use the Black Shark V2 Pro for PC, and personally to me this is the absolute most comfortable headset I've ever had or worn. But this headset really is giving it a run for its money, which is saying a lot. This is truly just a well-tuned headset when it comes to comfort. The padding on the band is nice, soft, and fits the top of my head really nicely. The ear cups are perfectly thick and cushiony, plus my ears don't hit the sides of the drivers, which is definitely not the case with some headsets I've used. The clamp force is also pretty nice and light, but not too light to the point where I feel like it's shifting around too much. Now, if I went and shook my... So just between the comfort with the cushions and the top headband and the clamp force, I personally think that this headset will fit and be comfortable for most people. The Kaira Pro does feature a handful of buttons on each ear cup, so let's take a look at each individual one and see what they're gonna do for you. On the left ear cup you have the power button with voice feedback, which is a very nice touch, a volume scroll wheel, and the mic mute switch. On the right ear cup you get the Razer Smart Switch button, which can switch you between wireless and Bluetooth modes, which means sadly this headset does not offer simultaneous use of Bluetooth audio while using the wireless dongle. Basically what that means is you get one or the other. You can't be listening to a game and then somebody calls you because it's connected to your phone and hear the game volume and your call at the same time. It's basically swapping between the two, which, you know, could be a deal breaker for some people. I never use that feature, but I know a lot of people do like having that option. You also get a volume scroll wheel that lets you turn off voice feedback so you can hear yourself in the headset if you want to. I know some people like that feature. And of course you get the Hypersense button to adjust this headset's haptic feedback, but more on that a little later. Now moving on to the audio features, this headset does rock the 50mm Triforce drivers. So if you've used one of the higher end Razer headsets in the past year or two, you're gonna get a pretty similar sound out of this headset. You are getting nice sounding premium audio out of this headset. Everything that I've played so far with this headset on has been nice and crisp and clean, and it's not really something you have to worry about with these higher end Razer headsets anymore. Pretty much all of them sound pretty dang good. Spatial awareness hasn't been an issue either on first person multiplayer shooters. Footsteps are nice and easy to hear, and just pretty much any direction that you want to hear a person coming from to get that little competitive edge has not been an issue. They work great for that. And then something that's really nice, since this headset is specifically designed for PS5, it does work with the PlayStation 5 3D audio. So it's got that same feature that the Pulse 3D headset has that Sony came out with. So super awesome feature to have. Now I do want to note, there actually has been quite a few people that said that this headset sounds really, really bad and tinny out of the box. I personally didn't have that issue, and maybe it's corrected now. But once they did fine tune it a little bit on the app, they said that the problem went away, or some people even reported that it just randomly started working better for some reason. Now, like I said, I haven't had that issue, but if you are having that issue, it's probably just something with the settings. So go into the app and kind of mess around with it, and you should be able to get it to a point where it sounds really good for you. Speaking of the app, I don't want to go too in depth with it. It's pretty much what you're going to use in order to change the settings. Since it is not a PlayStation headset or a Sony branded headset, you can't change the settings in the actual PlayStation. So you're going to use this app, and that's going to help you change all the audio settings plus set your RGB to what you want it at, basically. Overall, my experience with the app was fine. It worked pretty well, and once you set it to what you like, you're probably not going to use it for very much unless you want to go switch a setting. All right, now moving on to what I think is the most interesting thing about the headset, and that is the Hypersense haptic feedback. The Hypersense is essentially rumble feedback in the headset that triggers based on audio that is happening at the time. There are 3 levels that you can set this to: high, medium, and low, or you can just fully turn it off if you don't like that feature or you want to save some battery life. But personally, if you don't like the sound of that feature, maybe go with a different headset, because you are probably paying a little bit extra because of that feature. Now, I do want to note, this is not a new feature of Razer's. They've been actually doing it for a while now. I tried this same feature out a couple years ago on the Razer Krakens, and I absolutely hated it. It pretty much was based on any audio whatsoever happening, and it was just vibrating constantly, and it really became really disruptive depending on what game I was playing, but it annoyed the heck out of me. Luckily, the Kaira Pro seems to have an updated version or a more intelligent version of this feature. They do seem able to now pick more appropriate times to have the haptic feature kick in versus just rumbling like crazy anytime any noise is happening. That being said, even with the improvements, I don't see this being a feature that everybody will prefer or like to have. Now, let's talk about something on this headset that really leaves a lot to be desired, and that is the microphone. For the size of this thing, you'd hope that it would be pretty good, but I'd say it's pretty much just passable at best. I've had a lot of friends complain about the sound of it. It's by far not the worst microphone on a headset I've ever used, but it's just kind of mediocre to me. Especially coming from a $200 headset, you kind of wish it would have a more premium microphone. And finally, our last talking point in this review, the battery life. Now, Razer claims that you do get 20 hours of battery life with the RGB and the Hypersense feature turned on. And from my experience, I would say that that definitely is the case. I'd say 20 hours is roughly what I was getting with those features on, sometimes a little bit longer. And overall, I think 20 hours on a headset is pretty decent. And the great thing is if you don't want the RGB or the Hypersense on, it does extend your battery life up to 50 hours in between charges. So yeah, 50 hours is like really a great time in between charges for a headset. So I mean, kudos to Razer on that one. So yeah, honestly, between the cool design that matches the aesthetic of the PlayStation 5 really well, the really nice comfort, the high quality audio, and what I personally think is a cool rumble feature, I think this headset is definitely worth picking up if you're willing to spend 200 bucks on a headset. But yeah, overall, I think this headset's really awesome, and I'm pretty happy that I purchased it. But yeah, I do want to know what you guys think of this headset based on the review, or if you've used it already. Also, let me know down below in the comments if you are between this headset or another headset. Anyways, I do appreciate you checking out my review, and if you want to see future content on tech, games, movies, to literally anything nerdy in between, make sure to subscribe to Digital Cynics. Peace.